me corresponde el honor de presentar a Ingo Thomas. I will try to do my best because the introducing will be in English. Ingo Thomas, unfortunately, doesn't speak Spanish, but probably the information will be very interesting for us. Ingo studied political economy in Germany and the United States. He earned his PhD from the prestigious Skill Institute for World Economics in Germany and entered Bosch in the same year, 1996. Since then, he was responsible for various areas: business field planning, business development, which all included, in one way or another, one of his selling talent, strategic thinking. And this is why he is here today, not only as the Senior Vice President of the Office Board of Management at Robert Bosch, but as a strategic thinker of his company. In 2012, strategic thinking for Robert Bosch meant to face the high rates of youth unemployment in Southern Europe, which included Spain. Together with his colleagues and in cooperation with the Robert Bosch Foundation, Ingo worked on several projects to reduce youth unemployment. Promoting dual and vocational and education training is a key element in these projects. Today, in 2018, strategic thinking means, most of all, digitalization and connectivity. All companies perceive these changes. Until 2020, for example, every single product line in Bosch will be interconnected to all the others. Companies not only have to face changes to their business models and product portfolios, but also the competencies and skills they need from their workforce, or in different words, from the resource most important in any company, the people, to so-called human resources. So, how does education change? How does vocational training and further training change? What does this all mean for us, teachers, tutors, educators, politicians, decision makers, employers? This is why Ingo is here with us today, because vocational education and training is not the objective in itself and can never be. Vocational education and training is one of main measures a company can adopt to increase competitiveness and to stay on the cutting edge of technology. Mr. Thomas, sorry. It's the time. Please. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So, hello everybody, and thank you for this kind introduction. It is a pleasure to be here in this wonderful city and to contribute to this event. And I would like to do it with a presentation. And you see the title of my presentation here on the screen. It is Dual Education in a Connected World. We heard already from one of my predecessors the word digitalization. We prefer to talk about connected world because connectivity is what makes the differences, and I will show you this. Because connectivity over the internet will change our business, and it will also change the way we work and the way we have to qualify people. And that's what I would like to show you. So it works. Yeah, here's my agenda. First, I would like to talk briefly about the role of dual vocational and educational training at Bosch. I just call it dual VET, it's shorter. And so dual VET for us is, as we heard, the combination of practical and theoretical training in large but also small companies, and the theoretical training in dedicated schools. In the second part, I would like to focus on digital connectivity and the Internet of Things. So what happens when you connect things? That's the interesting point, and how this will impact our business. And finally, how can we make people ready for the Internet of Things? So let me start with a short look. What is Bosch doing in dual vocational educational training? We heard a little bit already, but here are some more details. Bosch has over 100 years of history in dual VET, and Robert Bosch founded his first apprentice workshop in 1913. You see him on the photo with his first apprentices in 1913. And since the introduction of VET at Bosch, we trained more than 100,000 people worldwide with dual VET. So we know how it works. And currently, as an example, every year Bosch offers about 1,500 VET positions in Germany alone in more than 30 different occupations. So why is Bosch promoting dual VET? The answer is obvious. First of all, we consider it as a highly effective way of providing people with the skills and the qualification business needs. So what we as business needs, the people get trained. So, and according to our understanding, dual VET should be part of every modern education system. It is a tried and tested way how to get and to educate the right people for your business and for the economy. And dual VET improves access to labor markets. It helps to reduce unemployment. It improves the employability of people. Very important. And how are we promoting VET? We do it by participating in public and political discussions, as today, so we are really promoting the idea. Of course, we are doing it by establishing dual VET schemes in other countries, also here in Spain, I will show shortly. And we also implement VET-related projects in selected countries. And here are some examples. You see our global footprint here. So currently, we train about 7,300 young people in more than 30 countries. So 2,600 outside of Germany. And of course, there is no blueprint in dual VET. There is nothing what is given, but the programs are set up to respect the specific national conditions, so legal requirements, the specific education system. You have to take this into account to build up a local VET scheme. And in some countries, and these are the countries with the red dots, the apprenticeship schemes are similar to the German model. This means we have practical training and dedicated in companies, we have theoretical training in dedicated schools, and we have a final exam similar to the German one. So that's what you see in those countries with the red dot. And here's some other country examples. You see Spain, we established dual VET in Spain in 2014, and we have currently 65 apprentices. In other major VET countries you see here on this list, there is the United States, China, India. I do not want to go in all the details, but I would like to highlight the example of United States. We are very proud of this. Our activities in Charleston, in South Carolina, we have 2 plants in South Carolina, are so successful with regard to dual vocational educational training that it became a national role model for the development of dual VET in the United States. And this is a success story, and we are proud of it. So this is a little bit about why we think VET is important and what we do about it. Now I turn to the main part of my presentation. What is changing? What is going on? What is happening in terms of connectivity? And before I go into the details, a few words about Bosch, because I do my presentation from the perspective of Bosch, and therefore you have to understand some details. Bosch is a globally leading technology company. It was founded 1886 by Robert Bosch, and it is today mainly owned by the Robert Bosch Foundation. So 92% belongs to the foundation, 8% to the family. And most of the profits made by Bosch are reinvested in the company. So for innovation, investments, so for our own purposes. And the dividends paid to the Bosch Foundation are used for charitable projects, like projects in education, migration, health, international relations. And here's some numbers for 2017. We are about 400,000 people worldwide. We generate sales of, or generated sales of about 78 billion. And maybe quite interesting how we make this money, what our products are. The main business area with about 60% of our sales is automotive. So we are the biggest car supplier company in the world. And that's the mobility solution sector. And we have three other sectors. One is industrial technology, with drive and control technology for factories. We have consumer goods, a large consumer goods division for power tools, for household appliances. And we have a fourth sector, energy and building technology. It's one of the leading manufacturers for security and communication technology or for efficient heating products. So a quite broad product portfolio. This is important to understand because this is part of our strategic story I will shortly introduce to you. So as you know, a lot is changing in our worlds today. And we at Bosch had a strategic development phase a couple of years ago. And the board of management tried to find out what are the most important mega trends which are relevant for our companies, the trends we should focus our activities on. And the result of this discussion is shown here. We identified 5 major fields of change. One is connectivity. Again, it's digital connectivity. And the second one is automation. So many things get automated, and this also relates to connectivity somehow, I later show. It is electrification. So many drives will be electrified. You know it by cars, we know it by industrial drives. So electrification is an ongoing mega trend. Is energy efficiency to save natural resources. We would like to contribute to this. And of course, also we heard this before, it is globalization. So not product related, but this affects all our products. Of course, the rise of emerging markets, just China to name as an example. And as I said, in recent years, we discussed the impact of these trends on our strategy. And one result was that connectivity is probably the most important game changer with a profound impact on our business, on work and society. And why is this the case? Why is connectivity a game changer? Connectivity is a mega trend around the world, and we know connectivity already by people. People are connected via the internet. This is not new, but we expect that by 2020, 7 billion people will be connected to the internet. But maybe even more important, things, devices, will also become connected. So by 2020, you can read it, we expect about 50 billion things or devices to be connected to the internet. And this is just the beginning. And we call this the Internet of Things. So this connection of people and things leads to a special situation. It will generate a lot of data. We call it big data. And this data generated by connected people and connected things can be put into good use for customers, for making products better, for creating new services, for creating new business models. And that's exactly what's going on. And this trend will not only affect big technology companies like Bosch, it will affect all of us, small companies, entrepreneurs, associates, people, consumers, teachers. And that's the story I would like to tell you. So, but why do we expect this trend to lift off now? Why are we now in a special situation? And maybe that's new for, hopefully it's some new aspects. It is, why do we think that stupid things are turned into smart things now? And the reason, or the drivers for this development are basically 2 laws. One is the Moore's law. I guess many of you heard about it. It is quite old. In 19 1965, Gordon Moore, the founder and CEO of Intel at that point of time, observed that the number of transistors on an integrated circuit doubles approximately every 18 months. This means computing power becomes bigger and bigger, or put it differently, cheaper and cheaper. So today, computing power, it's not a restriction anymore. It's basically available everywhere, and it costs not much. So this is one trend. But there's another one, and this is maybe not so well known, this law. It's Nielsen's law. And this says that the bandwidth of data, so the amount of data which can be transferred via the internet, which can be transported via the internet, doubles roughly every 21 months. So similar to Moore's law, it shows that more and more data can be transferred via the internet, or, to put it differently, more and more people or things can communicate with each other faster and faster. So, and another implication, thanks to Moore's law, you can equip things with cheap sensors. So sensors are also based on semiconductors. So today it's possible to add a sensor to basically every product, everything. And these, with the help of these sensors, the things can send, receive, and analyze data. And Bosch is one of the biggest producers of these sensors in the world. So now we have all the ingredients together. We have computing power, we have transmission power, transmission of data, transport power, and we have sensors. And when we bring these things together, you can make stupid things, you turn into smart things. And you have to add, of course, software. You have to add software and which can be put into a cloud. You have to add artificial intelligence. I come to this later. But this is a new situation now. And this will lead, as I said, not just to better products, but also to new services and business models. So here, maybe one message up to this point is digital connectivity will change our life fundamentally. It will be part of all our lives. It will be part of all of our businesses, and anything that can be connected will be connected. I'm convinced about this. You have to think about it. And this, of course, has strong implications. So what are we at Bosch doing with this? We have formulated the strategic goal to becoming a leading provider of connected products and IoT solutions. And our great advantage in this situation is that we have a broad product portfolio. I've shown you at the beginning, we have many products, many devices. And if we would be able to connect them, we could create new business opportunities. We could create additional services. And that's what we would like to put, to bring into the focus of our strategy. And our great advantage is that we know how these products work and how the systems work in which these products are integrated. And our goal is that to become a leading IoT player in the world, we at Bosch want to make all our products and product categories web-enabled until 2020. So in 2 years' time, every product you buy from Bosch, a household appliance, a dishwasher, a power tool, a specific automotive parts, of course only specific ones, a camera, will be able to be connected to the internet. That's the internal strategy, and all products will be web-enabled. What you're going to do with it is a different question, but that's the first step. And this will allow exactly what I said before. This creates new possibilities for additional services and new business models. So services will become an integral part of our business. So our idea is that with each hardware sale, wherever possible, we would also like to generate additional sales from services. If it works, I don't know. Not everything will work out, but things will change in many respects. So I give you some examples what this could mean for our business fields. Here are some ideas. One is, of course, connected industry, or what we call how we call it in Germany and in other places too, Industry 4.0. This means that parts, transports, equipment, machines get connected automatically, get connected via the internet and will automatically exchange data. And this can improve logistics and productivity in manufacturing. I have another example later. Another one is connected mobility. You see it in the middle. Cars will automatically exchange all kinds of data. So imagine this could create a dynamic map. So the cars would generate data, and you would get a map with real-time traffic and road conditions. And a car could warn other cars if there is an accident around the curve. This will be possible in the future. And if you offer such solution, you can create added value, you create additional customer benefit and additional services. So, and another example is smart homes. So if you connect the devices in your house, so the household appliances, the heating system, the lights, the shades of your windows, then you can imagine many solutions. So one is that the smart home detects automatically when the last person leaves the house, it closes the windows, the doors, reduces the heating temperature, turns off the light, or simulates if somebody would be inside the home. And if the system recognizes that somebody enters the house, it can send an alert to your smartphone or to any other person. So the opportunities are big. But if it is really value added, or if people are willing to pay money for this, is an open question. But I'm sure this will have a big impact on what will happen to our business and to the work of the future. So, but what all these examples have in common is that a lot of data is generated and exchanged between the devices. And again, if you are able to use this data, you are in a competitive position, and again, you can have an advantage over other companies and create new products or better products and services. So maybe another example, a little bit small, but just to give you some idea, and we are working on this. This is basically the factory of the future. So Industry 4.0 makes the entire value stream in your factory and in the logistic process more efficient, flexible, and resource efficient, even if you don't read the details. But so what we are able now is we can create a real-time image of the complete logistics chain and the production processes. So everything can be digitalized because things are connected, machines, parts are connected. And it's clear that it obviously will improve logistics and efficiency in production enormously. So, for instance, connected logistics enables continuous tracking and condition monitoring of goods and transport. It reduces waste, gets faster. You can, in connected manufacturing, you can have efficiency gains by dynamic routing of products or by smart replenishment of goods. So there are many opportunities. And we, at Bosch, we have about 300 factory plants in the world. We are testing this with some very great results. And we also try now to offer these products and services to other customers. And it's clear if you do that, then you have a real advantage. And I will, as I will later show, this has, of course, also impact on work. Or one example I should mention is new forms of interaction between humans and machines. So the interface between people and machines, between robots, will also change. So robots and people will work together. And we will see new forms of collaborative working between robots and people. So one element is missing. I mentioned it already, and this is then the last point of my outlook. It is artificial intelligence, because this is needed to really make your smart system truly smart. Because artificial intelligence allows data to be analyzed rapidly and to generate new insights. You can even make forecasts. And this comes with a paradigm shift. Because until now, computers have been programmed by programmers, with telling the machine what to do every step by step. But in the future, and we are working on it already, computers are trained by big data. Of course they have some algorithms, but they get filled with data. They discover patterns in the data automatically, and they can come to conclusions. It's basically learning. And when you add this to your machines, then this will have a big impact on what's going on with your system, and then you can create new ecosystems as I've shown before. But to be fair, a lot of research is still needed. We're making big progresses, not just at Bosch, but everywhere. But we are now in the phase with the big data available. Also, artificial intelligence will make a big jump, a big leap. And of course, understanding capabilities and limitations of artificial intelligence will increasingly become part of our business, and it's clear it will have a big impact on the kind of tasks performed by people. Okay, so now the question is, how can we make people ready for this new world? As I've shown, the Internet of Things will expand existing and create new businesses and services. That's clear. But this also means we will face deep structural changes in business, even in the whole society. And the tasks done by people will change. It is obvious that standardized and easy tasks will be automated. That's clear. So they will be automated more quickly. So they will not disappear, but will be reduced dramatically. And human tasks will be directed to new kind of tasks, which are more related to creativity, innovation, planning, monitoring, social skills, communication. So a new set of tasks where human work will focus on. And therefore, work will become or will be more flexible. This means people have to be enabled to adjust to the changing conditions. How we do that, I show, but they have to be enabled to become more flexible, cross-functional, so thinking in different domains or specific areas. And of course, work will be related to the use of IT devices and software. And this will increase along the entire value chain. And people have to be trained to new forms of human-machine interactions, as I said before. And last but not least, we have to be aware of this, work has to be guided by user needs. We don't do the things just for fun. And many of the things and ideas we have won't work. But what we have to understand, what do users, customers really want, and how can we set up connected solutions? We call these ecosystems, which really generate true benefits for users and customers. And this must be understood by people. Okay, now to be more specific, what competencies will be needed in the future? And here are some ideas. I don't say that's everything, but at least it gives some food for discussion. Some are obvious, some are maybe less obvious. Of course, when we look at pupils, apprentices, and skilled workers, first of all, we have to adjust to train technical know-how, basics in IT, programming, data analytics, data protection, IT, IoT architecture, so that's clear. So we have to get more used to these things. But, and I would like to highlight this, we are not just talking about technical skills. I'm convinced we need a mix of new skills which also involve social and cognitive skills. So I'm not afraid of the empty factory. There will be new services and new work, because you see, work will shift to new areas, but in which direction, I cannot tell, nobody really knows. But I'm sure if you enable people or train them competencies which relate to social and cognitive and commercial skills, this will help. And of course, you will need, it's also written here, lifelong learning, the capability for lifelong learning, because one thing is clear, the content of work will change during workers' lifetime faster than before. So what you learn when you're young, it's obsolete maybe in 10 years already, so you continuously have to adjust to this. It's a big challenge. I know from a theoretical point of view this sounds nice, but how do we get there? Good point for discussion, I know. Also the implications for trainers and for schools are big. of course, they have to become digital fit. How do we make them digital fit? How do we make sure that they keep up with the skills of the young digital natives? So today, and we see it even in our company, sometimes the young people come and know more about this IoT stuff, about smartphones and about software than the older generation. And what we did at Bosch was a nice experiment, or not experiment, we call it reverse mentoring, maybe it's also known here. So this means young associates teach their bosses how to use social media and how to use social or smartphones. And I was trained that way too. So once a month, a young person came to my office and we sat in front of a laptop, and he showed me how he works in social communities, how to work on media platforms. So I was trained. And this could also become part of a VET program, a VET program. So of course then also the young people can learn how to teach, how to train, and how to improve their social skills. So think about it, it's quite interesting. And what we need is modern learning and working environment, and which supports self-directed learning, and of course digital learning tools. They have to be more interactive. So you cannot do it in the same way as we did it in the last 10 or 20 years. Also this has to be adjusted. And last but not least, trainers will become more as coaches. So not as persons who know everything and push this knowledge or bring this knowledge to the people, but they must become coaches. And this changes the relationship between pupils and or apprentices and teachers too. So, but how do we get there? So a few ideas what we are doing in Germany and at Bosch. It's my final part. So some insights from Germany is that in Germany some new job profiles, you can read them here, and occupations have been created to better meet the new job requirements. For instance, production engineer or software developer, automotive, have been introduced to the dual VET system. So you can learn this occupation. So we're not talking about university degrees, this is VET. And of course, the curricula of existing occupations have been adjusted for industrial mechanics, electricians, mechatronics technicians. So there, for those associates, and Industry 4.0 and digital work is now mandatory. They have to learn it. And other qualifications are optional. You can read it. It is system integration, process integration, or things like additive and IT-based manufacturing. So really new skills, and they are trained now. So, and you see some of these changes have happened quite recently. So the new occupations have been introduced in August 2018, so also quite new. So, and what are we doing at Bosch? So, a few examples under the headline, Digital Transformation of Bosch's Apprenticeship Program. We introduce new qualification modules, such as app coding, I'll show you an example, web-based training, 3D printer projects, courses in robotics, computer networking, and so on. All the technical stuff, okay. And we introduce a digital qualification program for all trainers. So we are approximately training 200 trainers in Germany this and next years for these new requirements. We offer new e-learning concept at internet platforms and strongly promote self-directed learning. And not only for apprentices, but for all associates. So also I have to get trained. We also have to get trained. Only then are we able to turn our manufacturing company into an IoT company. So it's lifelong learning. And of course, to do all this changing, and we have to develop social skills. And I come also to this because this is important. And for all these changes, we need partners, such as VET institutions, chambers of commerce, other companies and schools. We cannot do everything alone. So we have to do it together. So it's not a story just by Bosch, but we, of course, are doing it with partners. And I would like to give you two examples to get some better ideas what we are doing. And this is the example of an apprentice dashboard for app coding. So when an apprentice turns on his computer or his tablet in the morning, he sees basically the dashboard on the right-hand side. It has useful information such as work regulations, instructions to specific machines or for specific machines, timetables for the training, the shop floor, a personal report book, or even the weekly cafeteria menu. So all the things you really need. So, and what's very interesting, most of these apps are programmed by the apprentices. They do it. They do learning by programming these apps, and the improvement of the dashboard itself is also part of the VET program. And again, we are talking about apprentices, not about university degrees. And this is really a good success story. In many of our plants, we are using this. And last but not least, social skills. I would like to mention 2 projects we are doing in some plants. One is that apprentices go to schools as ambassadors for dual VET. So they train, by doing this, they train their presentation skills, and they learn how to deal with critical questions. So really, they get trained in that quite early. And the example on the right-hand side, many plants offer social weeks in different ways. So apprentices can define their own projects. It's part of our project management training. And in this case, apprentices arranged 1 week together with a group of refugees with cultural, educational, and sports activities. So great thing. And they did it, and they trained and decided to do this by themselves. So important, therefore, developing digital and social skills. This goes hand in hand. So coming now to the end, you can see a lot is happening, but there are also some open questions and challenges. It sounds nice what I'm telling you, but straightforward, but it's not that straightforward. And I will refer to some of the challenges in my summary, and that's my summary. So it's clear digital connectivity and the IoT will fundamentally change work, but not only work, but the whole society and business. It has far-reaching implications. And even if you cannot tell the future, I'm convinced about 2 things. So the best way to continuously adjust to ongoing changes in business and work is dual education. It's strong alignment between business and theory, that's clear. And that's a strong advantage of dual VET. And it also means that VET by itself must be continuously adjusted to the changing needs of business. And combined with this, we must, of course, enable all associates, not just the apprentices, to participate in lifelong learning. But there are some further goals and challenges I would like to mention. What we need is high and comparable qualification standards and certificates. The best would be, of course, nationwide, even better, maybe one day EU-wide. I know that's a challenge, that you have to have, that employers, business, the community can rely on. If you are trained in this and that skills, you have a certificate, it guarantees a certain level of qualification. You can bet on it. That's important. And so this would widely open doors for labor markets. And all this would contribute to promote the acceptance and attractiveness of VET, also in comparison to the university degree or university training. And last but not least, one comment, dual education on its own will not solve all the problems of the labor markets. What we need are other important elements too, such as improvements in conditions for investment, innovation, a good infrastructure, a reliable political system, and so on. But I'm convinced that in such a comprehensive perspective, dual VET can play an important role of preparing the people for the challenges of the future. So thank you for your attention.